this is the situation that we have at hand. You know, that until the lions have their historians, the tales of the hunt shall always glorify the hunter. If we don't tell our own history by, you know, taking steps to form the union that will galvanize our efforts and lead us to a redemption out of these shackles, you know, of we just producing primary products and turning them out, sending them to the, you know, West for them to, you know, turn it into finished products, bring it back, and we buy it in hard currency. That has to be brought to a stop in some way, you know. That is how come the AFTA, Africa Free, you know, Continental Trade Area was formed quite recently. We live to see how practical that will be. On paper it looks so good that AFTA could play that role of social and economic integration. Tukuyam Kadama Lala AFTA Shale Bansabla Bugomlantin Nupa Karinyala Lala Dus Umar Delankara Gama Nyaladi into Chati Pambe Lamba Hankaya Kada Bilgusha Dimbi Bansabla Tumbanani Kariyalade Dunia Apu Dunia Inta Bansabla Nid Dabil Hotab Sunsun, Dukunyala Vow Kwapun Vow de Matakonku Kariala Tanamin Tundualama, Bampel Handir, Dabil Gat Mini Bansabla Tamid Dabilnish. Kiva did Dabil Nitavakazan Lara Il Abishai Malma Zangira, Ntla until Chef Daba, but Yankee Queen Labra. Those who cut Yane Lala African Union Mama, Bupansamle. Ka nzang lala ideals, you know, the ideals of the Pan-Africanists, you know, due to the formation of the African Union, there seem to be, you know, some drawbacks. During the advent of Kwame Nkrumah and his, you know, colleagues, there was more momentum, you know, than now that we are seeing, because it seems to be dragging off some sort of feet. And we are saying here and now that when you see the village chief himself going around inviting people to a meeting, then you should know there's something wrong with the system. You know, today's topic is the role of the chiefs in our nation's building. And straight away, I'll start by saying Ghana has a National House of Chiefs, which is made up of representatives of various paramouncies. You know, so the National House of Chiefs is the embodiment of all the chieftainship institutions, because the Constitution recognizes the chiefs and has put them right in the heart of the Constitution, at the center of the peace of the nation. You know, so to start with, they have several functions, like we started last week, and we tried to, you know, spell some of these functions, the rules the chiefs play, because you can't underestimate the power of the chiefs in nation building. Even though when the British came, the colonial rulers kind of introduced what was called the indirect rule system. The indirect rule system was crying out to suppress the powers of the chiefs. So the chiefs perceived the colonialists as people who try to curtail their powers. This they did by trying to suggest that form of governance that the traditional authorities were, you know, kind of operating with, was struck with so many challenges, and it was bringing down, you know, administration processes. It was kind of making the administration of the communities ineffective. They tried to actually undermine the system, stating that it was going to bring anarchy, chaos, and that. So they undermined the very institution of the chieftaincy and then introduced the indirect rule system. You know, so that brought a lot of animosity between the colonialists and the chiefs at that time. But because they had overpowered the chiefs, they were able to introduce the indirect rule system. You know, that system had a lot of challenges because, you know, the structure of the governance system in Western Europe at that time, the administrative structure, the privileges structure, you know, the responsibilities attached, they were so different from what our traditionalists were using, you know, to govern. The common feature between the traditional authority, and for that matter, our chieftain's institution, and the Western style of, you know, governance was the cohesion and the unity of, you know, the societies that was realized as a result of the governance that were being, you know, kind of carried out. So the traditionalists, though they hadn't gotten the same structure of governance like the West, they were able to foster that kind of peace, unity and harmony among the people, just as in Western Europe. So that was a common feature. So the colonialists recognized that and knew that they could not take them out completely from authority. You know, check this out. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Rickman, oh, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitters is gold. Half the story has never been told. Now I see the light. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. And if you know what life is worth, you look for your own earth. Now I see the light. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, yeah, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, yeah, don't give up the fight, yeah. We seek and tide other kisses came down and go to heaven in a Jesus' name. We know why we understand. A mighty God is a living man. Can fool some people sometimes, but we can't fool all the people all the times. And we see the light. Stand up for your right. Stand up for your right. Stand up for your right.